Cosplay is an amazing hobby and creating costumes is super fun. And to help you getting started, we made in the last few years over 200 different patterns and templates for bracers, breastplates, shoulder armors, masks, horns, crowns, and just like so much more. And to make it even more easier, I thought I'm giving you a quick tutorial with helpful tips and tricks on how to use those patterns. First, there are two sources for patterns, and the first one is actually our own website, cosplay.com. Here you can find everything we created in the past, and as a little extra, a few of those patterns are actually completely free of charge. And in addition to that, as an alternative, we also have our Etsy store where you can find mostly everything we have on our website as well. And all of those patterns are actually digital files. This means you can get an instant download once you buy the pattern and directly start crafting. For this video, I thought I'm going to show you how to build the curly witch hat pattern because it's actually one of our most popular designs. It looks really pretty, really nice, great for Halloween and all kind of costumes. And as you can see, you can find it here on the website as well as in our Etsy store. And yeah, the design is actually like not too difficult, not too hard. And in addition to that, it has like all the different techniques you need to create all the other patterns. So it's just perfect for this video. And all I need to do is add it to the cart, complete the checkout and download the file. Super easy. Once you get a download, you can find for the curly witch hat pattern two different files. And this one is the more important one. On the first page, you can find an instruction on how to print the pattern out, as well as a general instructional video on how to create those hat patterns. I don't have a tutorial video for every single pattern piece because we're making like so many patterns, but this video should help you to create something from the set, like in this case, the witch hat pattern. And yeah, then there's also like a video on how to scale patterns and how to change their sizes. Then we also have like an overview on how to put all the pieces together. Then there's a photo where you can find like all the names of the different pattern pieces. Then there's also a scaling chart in case you want to change the size of your hat, for example. So that's why I added the hat circumferences of my own hat, because like all the patterns are actually based on my own body. So in case you want to have like bigger or like smaller, you need to use a different printing percentage. And then finally comes the pattern. And yeah, like in most cases the pattern is actually too big to get printed on only one single page, and that's why we have to print it out on different pages. And in case you don't have a poster print option, or you go like to a printing store and like the printing store doesn't have the option, you can also use the pre-sliced file where you can find the pattern ready for European A4 or US letter format, but very important, you cannot really scale this pattern larger, but like only smaller, so you need to be aware of that. Now for printing out a file, I would totally recommend you to use the Adobe Acrobat Reader, but sadly though, the post-up print function is not free of charge anymore, and you actually have to pay a subscription fee. But yeah, as an alternative, you luckily can use the free Foxit PDF reader, and this one also offers a poster print function. So basically just download the program, install it, then open the file with the Foxit PDF reader and basically go on print. Here you have to pick the pages you want to print out. In this case, it's page 4 to 6. Make sure you hit the tile large pages function. This is basically the poster print setting, and if you want to print out your file in original size, just use 100%, or if you want to have smaller or bigger, just use the scaling chart, which you can find in the pattern. Then I would also highly recommend to click on cut marks, so it's much more easier like to glue all the pages together, and then afterwards hit on print and we are good to go. Now for printing, you can use any printer or also go to a printing store in your city. I personally work with a Canon Pixma, which can print out on a really large page, which is actually really nice if you do a lot of crafting and work with a lot of patterns. But I'm aware that not everyone has such a nice printer, so I'm going to use for you like a smaller printing page, and we just tape everything together afterwards. Now that we have everything printed out, I first just lay everything properly and see what fits together. And afterwards, I use some tape to connect all the pages. As you can see, here are some markings where I actually have to place the patterns together, but first we need to get rid of some excess material. Now everything needs to be aligned, and we can fix it with tape. Obviously, this step takes far less time and effort if you print out on larger pages, but as you can see, this works just as well. And in addition to that, I'm actually using like really strong cardboard paper for this one. And for cutting, I'm working with a really nice and sharp leather scissors. And the next step is to cut everything out. And by the way, once you're done, don't forget to also cut out those markings. You can use your scissors here, or I personally prefer this pattern notcher, which is just a little bit faster. And by the way, you can find all the products I'm using here in the video description. Next on, to get an idea what I'm actually crafting, I'm using the overview page of the file and lay everything flat first. So, looks good. So, let's do this. And now, as you can see, every pattern piece actually has its own name. So this one is D7, this one is D8, and here you also find markings on which neighbor belongs together. So as you can see, D7 and D8 needs to be connected with each other. And as you already probably can guess, those markings will help you to align everything properly. In addition to that, we also can find different markings here on those edges, like there's like a dotted line with an arrow to the outside. And here, for example, there's another dotted line with an arrow to the inside. This is basically an indicator how to cut out the EVA foam, and this little overview will also help you to understand what we have to do next. But to show you what this actually means, let's grab some EVA foam next. So I'm going to work with 5mm low density EVA foam as recommended in the file. And this foam is actually from Cosplay Shop B, my favorite cosplay foam provider. Link in the video description down below. As always, I have to mention though that you can also work with different materials. Like I saw people using our patterns for leather armor. They also made like fabric corsets, and some people even used metal with our patterns, which is like really amazing. But yeah, it always works with foam, but you can totally use other materials as well. So let's transfer all those pieces. To transfer everything, I'm using a simple ballpoint pen because it's like super cheap and yeah, it's like super precise and nice and easy. You can also use a silver Sharpie, but like I would say they're actually pretty expensive and they're getting empty like super duper fast, and I just don't like to get my fingers silver. So yeah, ballpoint is the way to go for me. Now my goal here is actually to fit everything on one single sheet, which is actually a little bit tricky, but let's see if we can do that. And while transferring, again, super important to transfer like all those markings as well. We will need them and they're like super important. So, And if you look at the overview page, you actually see like the original pattern, but it also says like mirror here. So basically all the gray pieces needs to be mirrored. You have to flip them around, basically make a second foam piece. So let's flip this here as well and transfer this piece again. Damn it. This one is left. And done. Actually got a lot of questions on how much material you need to create each pattern. And yeah, for this one, I used like a foam sheet of 95 centimeters to 45 centimeters. And as you can see, it's a little bit hard to estimate. The best way is really to print out a pattern and basically see how much you need. Good luck with that. Now, when it comes to cutting EVA foam, you need a super sharp blade. I highly recommend to get like a nice box cutter and also not replacing the old blades, because when you're actually cutting through EVA foam, it gets super dull, super quick. And for that, I'm actually using like this grinding stone to sharpen it again. I sharpen like every few cuts, or this sharpo, scissor sharpo. And just sharpen it just like that. This will save you a lot of time and a lot of money, because replacing those blades is a lot of work and effort. So just be smart and sharp. Yes. Next step is cutting out the EVA foam. And for that, we actually have to check out our patterns first. So here, this here, for example, is like a straight normal cut, but here you can find a dotted line with an arrow to the outside. And here you can find another dotted line with an arrow to the inside. So what does this mean? You can also find like a little guide on your pattern as well. And you always cut on the outline. Here, for example, is like a normal straight cut. You cut on the outline. But here is a cut with an arrow to the outside. So you basically start at your outline and like just move your blade a little bit and cut to the outside, and here you have to move your blade to the inside. And yeah, looks complicated, but it's actually pretty easy, but might need a little bit of practice. So let's do that next. So before we start cutting, we sharpen the blade, and first we do like a straight cut. You push your blade all the way through the foam and like pull it with all the force all through the material. See? Nice cut. Then sharpen again, and then we create a cut to the inside. So, and for that, we actually do like a little angle with the blade and keep this angle all the way with our cut. Now when you're done, this could be actually a cut to the outside, or if you turn it around, a cut to the inside. So when you're cutting your foam, you have like to turn stuff around the whole time. And yeah, let's do this next. Not that difficult. And now let's apply that. Before cutting, we always have to grab the pattern piece first, check like all the lines and see how we have to cut. Like so, as you can see here, we have to cut here to the outside. So let's first do the straight cuts and pull it like all the way through the foam. Take your time and like don't worry if your cuts are like not super duper perfect. This is no rocket science. This is EVA foam. EVA foam is flexible and forgiving. Flexible and forgiving, like a good wife. Now we do the angled cut, and like as you can see here, the arrow goes to the outside. So we tilt our blade a little bit, place it, and then cut with enough force all through the foam and keep our angle to the end. Okay? So, and now let's pull this out. Ta-da! Nice angle. It doesn't need to be like precise like the whole time. It's like it could be like a little bit more of an angle or a little bit less of an angle. No rocket science. You can do it. It's not difficult. Just keep it like a little bit tilted and it will be fine. Yes. Next part. Ta-da! Now let's do it a little bit more challenging. We're picking this piece here, which has like 2 cuts to the outside, but with a gradient, as you can see. So, again, we start this time with an angle, go all the way into the foam, and tilt the blade straight at the end of the edge, like that, okay? And now, I'm turning it around so I can do the cut properly, because I actually can cut only in one direction. And so I keep my pattern next to it again. And then I start now with a straight line inside and then tilt the blade more and more to the end of the edge. Okay? Easy, right? You can do that. Then let's pull this out. So. And it looks like that. Now we are doing the final difficulty, which is a cut to the inside with like several gradients and which is actually mirrored. So let's do this. Again, I'm taking the pattern, like keep it just like that so I can see all the angles. I'm starting here, tilt my blade to the inside. I start with an angle and then I straighten my blade again. I go then all the way to the end of the edge. Turn the foam a little bit so I can reach this here again. Then I check here, the cut starts with an angle again. So then we tilt the blade and move it just like that, okay? So, and now let's do the final cut, keeping the pattern again next to me. I start again with a straight blade, pull it all the way to the end and tilt the blade to the inside of the pattern, okay? So, and that's it. Yeah, and if you can do this, you can create like all the patterns and maybe it helps you to practice a little bit, but I hope it's actually not that difficult and like we usually try to keep our patterns like as easy and beginner friendly as possible. Okay, done. And as you can see here, here is the right side of the pattern and the mirrored left side, as you can find in the overview in the pattern. Next step is connecting all the EVA foam pieces, and for that we need some glue. And please, please, please don't use any hot glue and also no super glue. To work with EVA foam we need proper contact cement. My favorite brand is actually the one from Cosplay shop BE. It's like really nice. It barely smells and especially it dries within like 1 or 2 minutes. So it actually allows me to craft like super duper fast. Because you might wonder where to get like any other brands, and you can literally go to any hardware store and get contact cement from Patex or Uhu. Like the only downside is though that it takes like 15 minutes or something like that to dry. So obviously crafting with this glue just takes much longer and you need more patience. And I'm not a very patient person. And yeah, in addition to that, also just don't breathe in like all the nice glue vapor, because this stuff is actually toxic, not really good. So work within a well ventilated room, and also if necessary use a proper respiratory protection with like a proper filter, especially for contact cement from barge in the US. Like this stuff is like crazy and oh my god, so smelly. And I personally, I'm fine with this one, and to keep the smell like even to a minimum, I'm actually using like those really nice dosage bottles, which are like really great for applying glue to EVA foam edges. Love it. And finally, we can connect all those pieces. And to keep everything very nice and simple, my plan is actually to connect first those 4 pieces, then like those 4 pieces, then those 4, and then those 4, and then at the very end, I just connect like all those sections and make a nice curly witch hat. Okay, so contact cement needs to be applied really nice and thin on both sides. That's why I'm using like a little scrap piece of foam and spread everything nice and even. And yeah, once you apply it, you actually have to let it dry like for a few minutes, like 1 or 2, and then you can actually connect all those pieces. So first, I'm covering like a few edges with some glue. Then I'm doing the same with the other side. So meanwhile, the other pieces actually can dry a little bit, so I can directly connect them afterwards. So you actually can test the glue when it's dry, so you don't have like any soft spots anymore. Don't wait too long, but basically once it's not like sticky anymore, the glue becomes actually sticky, at least to itself. And sometimes you actually have to stretch or bend the material like really a lot. Like as you can see, like those markings don't align here properly. So I have to stretch and squeeze a little bit. And we have patterns that really need a lot of stretching and squeezing, like the foam patterns. So even if it seems that the patterns don't fit properly together, you just have to force it a little bit. And that's also how the pattern is supposed to work. And since the glue actually takes 1 or 2 minutes to dry, I'm applying it only right now, because if I would cover all the edges at once with glue, some of the edges wouldn't stick anymore, because if you actually wait too long, the glue just doesn't work anymore and you have to apply another layer. So just be patient and like just do one seam after the other. Now comes the pro tip. For the next step, we actually have to pull those seams out a lot, and to protect them from tearing apart, just grab some duct tape and apply a little bit of tape on those seams so they stay actually together once you glue everything else together. And like this totally helps like to let them dry properly. At the end you can just remove the tape. Works great. I love the tape. And now let's put this together again. We need a little bit of patience, making sure that like all those edges align properly and none of those foam pieces is like too high or too low. That's a little bit like tricky. Okay, good. Are we good? Are we good? Okay. And as you can see here, the seam already wants to get a little bit loose again. So I'm covering it up with a little bit more tape to make sure it stays together and the glue dries properly out. We can close the other seam as well. This is let's do this. Okay, and now I need here a little bit careful, as this part is actually trickier than other steps. I'm just making sure I'm hitting all the markings. Just good enough. Good enough. Yes. Yes, good enough. So, and then at the end, we apply here some tape as well. Next section, and it's basically all the same, connecting just everything piece by piece. Follow all the markings. As you can see, like my seams are also like not really nice and clean or anything, but we can clean them afterwards. And now let's connect the seams. So nice and easy. Okay, looks like a charm. Yay! Now onto the brim. And as you can see here, having a proper cutting mat is actually super helpful. and having a cute corgi as well, having a proper cutting mat is actually super helpful, because like this here is like completely covered with like primer and glue and paint and everything. And this way I can protect also my table from all the cuts. Almost done. Also, as you can see here, the tape actually removes the excessive glue, and you can totally use it to clean up your seams later. The next step is to connect like all those sections with each other and build the final shape of the head. So let's apply more glue. Again, I'm aligning all the markings, carefully work my way all around here, and works like a charm. Very good, very good. You start again at the back. I'm looking for those markings. Carefully, carefully. I press those seams together. Easy peasy. To make sure I glue everything properly together, actually mark here the front, so I don't glue everything the other way around, and here's like the back. So make sure you don't mix this up. And this part is actually the most challenging one. I make sure I hit again all the markings. I do first the left side, then the right one. So that's a little bit tricky, a little bit. Squeeze, 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 and ta-da! I really like this head pattern design. I think it looks very cute, very fancy. I feel very magical, and I hope you were able to see that like making this stuff with our patterns is actually really easy, and you want to do it yourself, because otherwise, avada kedavra! And now you might wonder what's next, and lucky you, we actually have plenty of other tutorials. For example, I made a tutorial on how to paint and prime EVA foam, or also you can learn how to turn EVA foam into wood or hammered steel. You can also cover this up with fabric and like add like flowers and feathers and like make it all nice and fancy and gigantic and wonderful. And yeah, this hat is basically just the base, just like all our other patterns as well. Just pick a pattern, pick your favorite one, build your piece, and just let your dreams come true and follow your imagination and do whatever you want. And yeah, like for example, we also have like cool helmets, we have like crowns. I'm also very proud of this samurai oni mask. It's like completely made out of EVA foam. Or we also made a really cute pirate hat for our corgi by just scaling this pattern down to 60%. And yeah, just grab a pattern and create something awesome, because crafting is so much fun. And in addition, also please let me know down in the comments if you want to see more patterns from us. Like if you have any ideas, any wishes, if you would like to see something and still missing, because we love creating more patterns for the community and support everyone and hope everyone starts crafting. And to help you even better, aside of our patterns and YouTube videos and all those tutorials, we also have books, and unlike the patterns, they actually come, as you can see, like physically and digitally. And yeah, this one actually teaches you, like the book of foam armor, how to make patterns yourself and how to make really cool foam armor, prime paint, do attachments, and like all those things. We have like so many books. Check all of that out in our Etsy store or on comicosplay.com. Thanks so much for the support. And finally, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope it was helpful, no matter if you're working with our patterns or with patterns from other people, because there are plenty of amazing artists and crafters who are sharing their patterns as well, and this is absolutely amazing. Also, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And also, write down Corgi in case you don't have any other comment to write, or maybe you have a question, and basically to support us with the mysterious YouTube algorithm. And other than that, also thanks so much for our lovely patrons. We're all amazing. And then, see you very soon in the next video. Bye bye!